What if you had T.rex teeth and other dinosaur parts? By Sandra Markle, illustrated by Howard McWilliam. What if one day when you woke up, you felt a little bit strange? Then you discovered one part of your body was now very different. What if, overnight, a dinosaur's body part had taken its place? Tyrannosaurus rex. Tyrannosaurus rex was a meat-eating dinosaur with a mouth full of around 67-inch long teeth. Its teeth were thick and slightly curved. Plus, each tooth had sharp, jagged edges, like a steak knife. When a T-rex closed its jaws, its upper and lower teeth locked like fingers lacing together. Scientists also believe this dino's jaw muscles slammed its mouth shut with bone-busting force. That's probably why scientists have found bones from other dinosaurs with T-rex bite marks. Fact: T-rex broke and lost teeth when it bit into bones, but fossils preserved remains of its jawbones show that this dino was always developing a replacement teeth, just like sharks. If you had a Tyrannosaurus rex teeth, you'd never need a knife to cut up your food. Velociraptor. A velociraptor's sickle-tipped toes, the second toe on each hind foot, were just what this meat-eating dinosaur needed to grab dinner. A velociraptor was rather small, probably only 6 to 7 feet long, from its nose to the tip of its tail. Its skeleton shows it ran like a bird on short hind legs with big feet, holding its sharp toes off the ground. Scientists think this dino sneaked close to its prey, leaped, and put those sickle-tipped toes to work. Then, dinner was served. Fact: a velociraptor had perfect meat-eater teeth, pointy and sharp-tipped with a steak knife like jagged inner edges. If you had velociraptor's sickle-tipped toes, you could open presents in a flash. Stegosaurus. A stegosaurus was a giant plant eater with a built-in defense, a spiked tail. Each side of its tail tip had a pair of nearly 2-foot-long spikes. Because a stegosaurus' tail was made up of around 45 to 49 different tailbones, scientists think it could easily swing its tail side to side, and maybe even up and down. Wham! A spiked tail slam was sure to back off any enemy. Fact: a stegosaurus had thin, flat plates sticking out of its back. Scientists believe they were most likely to show off and win a mate. If you had a stegosaurus spiked tail, you'd always be ready. Polysaurolophus had an amazing long crest on top of its head. Some crests were as long as 5 feet. X-rays and CT scans of fossil skulls have shown scientists this crest was full of the dinosaur's breathing tubes. These tubes stretched to the end of the crest and back again before going down its throat. Scientists tried blowing air through model crests to figure out what this dino might have sounded like. They learned that the length of the crest affected the sound it made. Parasaurolophus ears bones meant that this dino was best at hearing deep sounds that carried over long distances. Head crest: you could lead the school marching band. Ankylosaurus. Ankylosaurus was a tank of dinosaur with a full coat of body armor. That armor was made up of rows of bone plates within its skin. Scientists have discovered many similar kinds of dinosaurs, which they have grouped together as ankylosaurs. Some of these dinos had flat bone plates for their armor. Others had plates with spikes or spikes. At least one kind of ankylosaur even had armor eyelids, but all of them topped off their protective armor with a bony helmet-like skull. Fact: some kinds of ankylosaurus had a built-in weapon, a stiff tail tipped with a club made of 3 or 4 fused armor plates. If you had an ankylosaurus body armor, you'd be your hockey team's MVP. Brachiosaurus. Brachiosaurus was a plant eater with a long neck, perfect for munching treetops. Its neck was nearly 30 feet long, which let it reach as high as a 3-story building. This dino's 13 huge neck bones were full of holes so that its long neck was light enough to lift. Since its teeth weren't very good for chewing, its gut had to do all the digesting once it swallowed. And what a long swallow it had. Fact: this dinosaur was named Brachiosaurus because its front legs are longer than its back legs. Brachiosaurus means arm reptile in Greek. If you had a Brachiosaurus neck, you could easily see over everyone's heads at the movies. Therizinosaurus. Therizinosaurus had front limbs that were tipped with nearly 2-foot-long claws. At first, scientists thought those long claws meant this dinosaur was a hunter. But after studying fossils, scientists learned Therizinosaurus claws were thin, probably not good for catching prey. Plus, this dino had a plant eater's beak and only teeny tiny teeth. Now scientists believe Therizinosaurus was a plant eater that used its giant claws to bring leafy branches close enough to grab a mouthful. Fact: because Therizinosaurus had such small teeth, scientists believe it had swallowed stones to help its belly smash up every leafy mouthful. If you had a Therizinosaurus claws, you would make the best head sculptures. Edmontosaurus. Edmontosaurus' shovel-shaped jaw made its mouth perfect for scooping up shrubby plants. As its jaw muscles pulled its mouth closed, the hard beak at the front snipped off each bite. Next, muscles moved this dinosaur's big jaws to crush its food between bunches of small teeth. After 700 total, packed so close together, they acted like giant molars. Scientists believe this dino wasn't picky and ate whatever it could scoop up: leaves, berries, seeds, and even little shellfish. Fact: rare rocks that formed from mud were an Edmontosaurus once lay show that its body was covered with small 6-sided scales. If you had an Edmontosaurus's shovel-shaped jaws, you would win every food-eating contest. Triceratops. Triceratops' giant skull was armed with 3 horns. An adult's nose horn was about a foot long, but the 2 brow horns, one above each eye, poked out above 3 feet. Behind those horns, its head and neck were shielded by a helmet-like frill. Scientists think being armed and armored let this dino put up a good fight if a meat-eater attacked. But scratches found on Triceratops' horns may also mean these dinosaurs clashed horns in battles for mates. Fact: a Triceratops' brow horns showed its age. Babies had nubs, teenagers had horns that curved up, and adults had very long horns that aimed forward. If you had a Triceratops' horns, you could carry all of the groceries in one trip. Now, wouldn't you be a big helper? Dilophosaurus. Dilophosaurus was an 8-foot-tall dino with long hind legs. Scientists studying its skeleton have found lots of places where big muscles attached to its hind legs. This is proof that this dino was fast. Its footprints also show that Dilophosaurus stepped on just 3 toes and a foot pad. So it was probably light enough on its feet to make quick turns and big leaps. Since it had sharp meat-eater teeth, Dilophosaurus probably chased down fast food. Fact: scientists think Dilophosaurus's bony head crest helped this dinosaur spot more of its kind. If you had a Dilophosaurus's hind legs, you would be a star dancer. Spinosaurus. Spinosaurus had a great sail on its back. This was made up of a skin coated with keratin, the same tough stuff humans' fingernails are made of, and held up by 6-foot-long spines. This dino skeleton shows its backbones were locked together. Scientists believe that kept its sail upright and always fully spread open. All the better to show off. This giant sail was sure to catch a future mate's eye, and it maybe made Spinosaurus look too big for other dinosaurs to attack. Fact: Spinosaurus's broad back feet, long toes, and flattened toe claws probably kept it from sinking into the mud while hunting for a shallow water meal. If you had a Spinosaurus sail, you'd be a champion windsurfer. Dinosaur parts could be cool for a while, but you don't need 30-foot long neck to reach your food or a super strong bite to eat it. Your voice sounds just fine without a long head crest to fine-tune it, and you don't need a giant sail to be noticed. But if you could keep any dinosaur part for more than a day, what kind would be right for you? Luckily, you don't have to choose. You aren't living long ago in the age of dinosaurs. You're living now. All of your parts are people parts. They are exactly what you need to be the one and only you.